Okay, so today we're reading Welcome to Third Grade, Gus. The teacher held out her scaly green hand. She pointed at Gus with one long, sharp claw. Welcome to third grade, Gus. Gus, Gus, she hissed. Gus screamed and opened his eyes. It was only a dream, he told himself. Gus's mom poked her head through the doorway. Time to get ready for school, Gus, she said. I'm not going, Gus said, pulling the covers over his head. Third grade is a hard, scary, no fun place, he continued. How do you know? Asked his mom. You've never been to third grade. Now, hurry up or you'll miss the bus. Gus wiggled out of his pajamas and into his new school clothes. After breakfast, he grabbed his new lunchbox and followed his mom out the door. Halfway to the bus stop, Gus started to rub his stomach. I think I'm sick, he said. Don't be scared, said his mom. You'll feel much better when you get to school. Gus climbed on the bus and slid onto the seat beside Bean. I'll never have another day of fun as long as I live, Gus sighed. Just when Gus thought things couldn't get any worse, Billy Dixon plopped down on the seat behind him. Gus leaned close to Bean. I'm worried, he whispered. About what? Asked Bean. About everything, said Gus, especially third grade. I think you worry too much, said Bean. Do you think the teacher will yell? Gus asked. Do you think she'll make us stand in the corner for an hour? Billy poked his head over the seat. She'll yell all right, he said, a lot, and you'll be in the corner for days. The bus pulled up in front of the school. Bean got off. Gus trailed behind him. Number 42? Number 42, Gus mumbled, trying to remember which bus would take him home again. When they reached the front door, Bean looked around. Gus was nowhere to be seen. Psst, Bean, said a voice from behind a bush. I'm going to wait here. Come by and get me after school. Come on, Gus, said Bean. Everything is going to be okay. You worry too much. But what if I say something dumb in front of the whole class? Gus asked. What if they call me Spikehead? What if the teacher yells a lot and makes us stand in the corner for days? You heard what Billy said. Don't listen to Billy, said Bean. He is just trying to scare you. The third grade will be just as much fun as second grade was. Gus and Bean made their way through the crowded hallway. Children bustled this way and that. Then the bell rang and everyone disappeared. By the time Gus and Bean found their classroom, all of the other children were in their seats. It looks like I have one less thing to worry about, Gus whispered to Bean. Billy isn't in our class. Then Gus's heart skipped a beat. The only two empty desks were in the front row, and right in front of them stood the teacher. Bean gave Gus a nudge. Go on, he said. With shaky knees, Gus slunk to the first desk and sat down. Good morning, class, said the teacher. I'm Mrs. Kyle. Welcome to third grade. Mrs. Kyle leaned over to Gus. She whispered in a soft, gentle voice, Don't worry, everyone is nervous the first day. Even me. She smiled a great big, non-scary smile. She didn't have huge fangs, long claws, or scaly green skin. Gus spent the rest of the day having so much fun that he forgot to worry. First, the class played a game to learn each other's names. No one called Gus Spikehead. Then Mrs. Kyle asked everyone to choose a partner for a science project. three kids begged Gus to be their partner. At recess, Gus caught a fly ball. At lunch, he dropped his cookie, but the cafeteria lady gave him another one. And after music class, Mrs. Kyle chose him to put away the drums. At last, the bell rang. It was time to go home. Gus had been having so much fun all day that he had forgotten to go to the bathroom. He started to squirm. Before you leave, said Mrs. Kyle, I have one more thing to tell you. Mrs. Kyle talked. Gus began to jiggle his feet. He wiggled his legs. He wriggled and rocked back and forth. Finally, Mrs. Kyle said, Class dismissed. The door burst open. Children poured out. At the head of the mob ran Gus. Bean ran to catch up. Where are you going? He asked. Gus slid to a stop in front of the bathrooms. You know what, Bean? Gus said. Third grade isn't a hard, scary, no fun place after all. Today was fun. I can't wait until tomorrow. See you on bus 42. But Gus, Bean said, I think that's. Trust me, it's bus 42, said Gus. I think you worry too much, Bean. Did you all see what happened? All right, and we finished the book.